to another video. Today we're starting a new series, and that is a build challenge where every house is a different state within the US. So I've done a lot of the challenges, like every room is a different pack, and I've done some every room is a different city or a different country. But for a lot of them, I felt like I really wish I could just spend more time and add a little bit more. So we're going to try doing a house for each state. I don't know how many states we'll get through, but we're starting off with one of the first states, one of the original 13 colonies here, and that is Massachusetts. So let me know down below if there's other states that you guys want to see. But for Massachusetts, we ended up going for a very traditional colonial style house. This is a style that originated in New England, so it's pretty typical for houses in that area. And some key characteristics of it are, as you can see, it's a very square looking build. It usually has a row of windows on both the top and the bottom floor with the more traditional looking shutters. It has a little entranceway smack dab in the middle of the building with a doorway as well as some pillars and kind of a more traditional looking door. And then there's also a chimney on either end, which you'll see me add in later on. But moving on to the inside, I wanted kind of a traditional floor plan. I always struggle with the floor plans, so we'll see if they get better as this challenge goes on. But starting off here with kind of a little living room area, my other inspiration was really the ocean. So you'll see me use a lot of blue since Massachusetts is a coastal state. They have a lot of traditional kind of New England beach towns. I really wanted to make sure that was represented. And then going through the furniture and just pulling out what I was inspired by, I wanted to make sure to keep more of that traditional vibe. So since Massachusetts is one of the older states, there's definitely a lot of history there. So I wanted to reflect that as well. And then it turned out that the cats and dogs pack had a lot of really cool content. So I ended up using a lot of that just in all the different rooms here. And then I looked it up, and apparently Brindleton Bay, which is the world that came with cats and dogs, was actually inspired by New England. So that's perfect. And then my other inspiration was learning and higher education. So Massachusetts does have a lot of really cool universities. They have Harvard, they have MIT, and a whole bunch of other ones. So I wanted to make sure that there's a little study in the house. And then I was thinking of the family that might live here. I figured it was either one or two more traditional parents, and then 2 kids. So I wanted to make sure to put the little kids' activity tables over here next to the adult desk so that the whole family can learn together. And I thought that was pretty cute. And then moving back into the living room here. So my other inspirations were, like I said, really coastal. I end up using a lot of coastal accents, and I do end up changing the walls to a lighter color, don't worry. I always start off way too dark, and then, realize later on that doesn't look good, so we'll change that later. But for the furniture, again, I wanted to keep some more traditional looking sofas. I put some more traditional looking curtains. I figure maybe the adult Sims who live in this house are into that more traditional colonial style decorating. And then this coffee table I actually sized down. I always have the issue with the tables, they just seem too big, but if you size it down, it still works great as a normal table, so that's what we ended up doing here. And then otherwise in this living room, I end up adding in a little entryway, and then I add a little place. We ended up adding the stairs there along the wall, so I added in this little reading nook before I put the stairs in, so that your sim can just sit here. Again, it kind of stays with the academic vibe from the office, so I want a little bit of that in this room as well. And then I ended up going through and changing the wood to be a little darker, again keeping with more traditional vibe. And then I put in a little entryway here. I did put in a lot of boots and coats and jackets since those New England winters are pretty brutal, so your sim would need to be prepared. Moving into the kitchen here and the dining room. The dining room, I did use cats and dogs pack again. I love these chairs because they have so many different patterns. So we went for an eclectic mix of chairs, and then that little captain's wheel on the wall to stick with the nautical, coastal New England town feel. And then my other inspiration was obviously Dunkin' Donuts. Anyone who's from Boston or Massachusetts would know this. You can't do anything without your iced coffee. So I ended up putting some over here by the computer. So this is a custom content pack. I'll link it down below. I thought that was really fun and really added in a New England feel into this house. So I put a bunch of the cups over here on the table as well. Iced coffees only, of course, so that it looks like all the Sims were just sitting there enjoying them. So I'll link that pack down below. It was really cool, and I thought that was pretty fun. Then moving into the upstairs here, I divide this into 3 bedrooms, a master, and then 2 kid bedrooms. Again, I wanted the windows to really match that colonial style, so I couldn't use my normal build sheet of just putting windows everywhere, and then you don't have to decorate the walls. So I also put 2 bedrooms up here, or not, I also put 2 bathrooms up here, because there weren't any bathrooms downstairs, and it ended up being a little squished. But I honestly didn't mind that. I think that, you know, since Massachusetts does have Boston, other big cities, I feel like this downstairs here really kind of matched what you might find in a city like that, where there's just not a lot of space. You have to make do with what you have. So I liked that. That was the feeling for kind of the kitchen and the dining room. So the kitchen, just put in some traditional things here, nothing too crazy. And then I ended up going back and switching out the doorways to make them smaller, just so that they didn't interfere with the placement of the different objects. So hopefully your sim will be able to get through there okay. And then, like I said, once I got into the cats and dogs, I couldn't stop. So I did put some different feed dishes and like a bed down here for a dog. And then I put some accents up here for a cat. So for the bedrooms, I really just went through the cats and dogs pack and pulled out everything that I thought looked cool. So this here is the parents' room. I think the parent would be someone maybe a little older, a little bit more traditional. So I used some of this more traditional looking furniture for them, as well as this bed with the patchwork quilt, which I really love, but I find it kind of hard to use it day to day. And then for the kids' room, I once again just went crazy with everything I could find for cats and dogs. And I used this, actually the kids' room furniture from Cats and Dogs, which I don't normally use because I think the proportions are a little odd. But I thought it was kind of fun here for maybe twins. Like you see here, I just switched up the colors of everything so that the room on the right, the orange and the teal, is our cat room. So someone who's maybe a little bit more studious, she or he, could be either one, really likes crafts, pretty creative, they like music, and they love cats. So I pulled out all the cat-themed accents I could find to put in that room. And then for our dark blue room, again, either a girl or a boy sim who really loves dogs, maybe a little bit more messy, maybe pretty into science. So I pulled out all the dog accents I could find to put them over there. And I love these little decals that came with cats and dogs, that the little cats or the little dogs were just sitting or running around. I think they're a really cute way to decorate a kid's room. And they're also really cheap. So if you happen to be playing a challenge, like 100 Baby Challenge or something, that you can't cheat your money on, they're a really cheap way to put some decorations on your kid's room. So you see here, I'm just pulling out all the different accents. It doesn't really have anything to do with Massachusetts. I just got carried away with the cats and dogs pack and the idea that these 2 siblings, very opposite as far as the animals they prefer, but they do share the bathroom there as well, which I liked. And then as a finishing touch here, I just ended up putting in a lot of historical looking artwork. I tried to stick with the ones that looked a little bit more nautical or a little bit more historic. Again, sticking with, you know, Boston and Massachusetts history as a coastal kind of port for the US. So I put this map over the couch as well. Again, it's really sticking with that historic theme. And then for the outside of the house, I wanted to keep it very traditional, so it looked like, you know, this is a house that could have been here for a very, very long time. So I put in just a kind of classic little picket fence here, and then put in some cobblestone paving going from the front to the back. If you've ever been to Boston or really any older city, you'll know that that type of paving is pretty popular in kind of these older buildings. And then for everything else in the backyard, just kind of put in some traditional backyard things. I did put Patchy back here since, as anyone who's from New England knows, everyone gets pretty excited for the fall out there. As soon as the weather starts changing and the leaves start turning and everyone wants to go to the pumpkin patch and go apple picking. So I figured Patchy was kind of a fun addition to the build. And then as far as the shrubbery and the trees, I tried to stick with plants that seemed more traditional to the Northeast United States. So you can see here just some kind of classic bushes. These little spiky things came with cats and dogs, so I assumed that they would be good, but I don't actually know what they are. And then for the trees, I think we end up using oak trees, we end up using beech trees, and I believe elm trees as well, which are all trees that you'd find in that area of the country. So I think I'm going to end the video here. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any other states that you want me to do, make sure to let me know, and we'll come back to do some other states very soon. So I hope you guys enjoy the screenshots, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, I don't believe in destiny, I just do what's best for me. Don't listen to my enemies, they're just full of jealousy. Yeah, this legacy, you gon' see what's left of me. You gon' see success in me, you ain't seen the rest of me. I just wanna be the best at what I know, better than the rest, just watch me grow. Put me to the test and watch me go. This is my quest, I'ma make it known. They call me obsessive, oh I know. Call me selective with my notes, call me aggressive with my flow. Call me offensive even though yo, I ain't gonna lie, life's tough. Try to get by, life's rough. Try to do it right, it's not enough. Even though you try, you still mess up. But I'm still gonna fight for what I love, still gonna die for what I